Over 110 students and teachers signed up for Stringfest to make sure they were heard by school committee members before they walked into their meeting on Monday night.
Today, all of us are here to keep our promise to these fourth graders and kindergarten through third graders, because we promised them that they get to play a string instrument in Newton, and if they work really hard and they practice and they invest themselves in everything they do, then they get to play in harmony and make beautiful music. So we're going to do that today in the hopes that everybody sees how important and special that is.
The 100-plus number of students, parents, and teachers were on hand to show their dissatisfaction with the cuts being made to the Newton Public Schools budget regarding the elimination of string lessons and orchestra ensemble programs for students in 4th and 5th grades from all 15 elementary schools. Williams School music teacher Eric Ritter reflects on the day he found out the strings and orchestra programs were being cut.
I had this amazing rehearsal and the kids made me cry. And because it was beautiful and I'd never heard my orchestra play like that before. And then the principal came in, half an hour after when I had a free minute, and he said, "Did you get the email?" And as I was teaching that rehearsal, we got the email that they're cutting this program. So I texted Olivia immediately, and I was like, surely if anyone heard the rehearsal I just heard, they couldn't, in good conscience, cut this program.
Ritter and Pierce Elementary School music teacher Olivia DeJoffrey brought together music teachers from different schools, along with their students, parents, alumni, and community members, to show how important these programs are to Newton students by forming Stringfest.
It was also kind of a way to have an action item for the kids, because we're the ones that have to break the news to them, right? So we're going to orchestra rehearsal and they're saying, "What's this about the strings cuts?" And we say, well, yeah, you might not have an orchestra to play in next year. Your friends might not have an orchestra to play in next year. And they're like, well, what can we do? So we really wanted them to have a way to use their voices and speak up, because they're citizens of Newton too, right? And we wanted them to be able to come out and show that this is something they care about and it's something that they enjoy and it means a lot to them.
One community member agrees that eliminating the strings program will do more harm than good.
I am the beneficiary of a well-rounded musical education. A well-rounded musical education is necessary for everyone so that they can find their voice, meet new friends, find their identity overall, and discover the way they learn. Even if they don't go into a field that involves professional music, they can definitely benefit from this. I can't think of a single aspect of my life that hasn't resulted in me not only being a part of a strings program in school, in the public school, but in part of a band program and the part of a vocal program. It's necessary to have absolutely all of it for people to get everything that they need.
The Newton Public Schools budget shows a deficit of $4.9 million to maintain level service from last year. In order to get to a balanced budget, cuts have to be made. This includes cuts of teachers, aides, assistant principal positions, and programs at every grade level. But these types of cuts don't align with Newton's motto of having great schools.
Really not a good look in a district that prides itself on equity. Excellence and equity is the motto, I believe, of the Newton public school system. And so kids who can't afford it, or kids whose parents just don't, we heard it in the public hearing that some parents are very uncomfortable with, where do we bring the kids to lessons, or they wouldn't even try them out on cello lessons because they don't know, it might not stick, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want to take that chance. So it would really be inequitable, I'd say, to not offer this.
When we were first doing this and first getting signups, I was like, this is maybe just a thing I am doing so that I can say that I did. At least I tried, and maybe it's a little swan song, and at least the kids get to do a full orchestra concert before the end of the year. But now I actually think it might work.
And that hope may come to fruition. Assistant Superintendent Liam Hurley created a restoration list, and while the teachers and classroom sizes are top priority, the strings program is listed on the second priority list. But Interim Superintendent Dr. Kathy Smith stated, with perhaps the reallocation of maintenance funds and moving OPED from the school budget to the city's budget. The Strings program and other reductions could return.
Like to recommend. Last night it was brought up in discussion. I can't even remember who brought it up, but there was talk about the charter maintenance. And there was talk about, again, how important that was, and it's important in any budget. When I look at the amount set aside with the number of buildings you have, it probably should be doubled that money to make sure that we do summer projects, continue. You've done such a good job highlighting your plans, your capital improvement plans for all of your buildings. That's a complement to that, to make sure that those buildings that aren't, in the capital improvement plan at this time continue to have upgrades, et cetera. But one of the things that we had talked about was looking at that amount of money. It's over 400,000. If you are able to add that back into the 680,000, it brings us to about $1.2 million, Lamb.
Yes. So
And our recommendation would be to bring back all of the positions on the first sheet, which takes care of, again, a number of the class sizes that you had concerns. And I would also recommend from the second sheet. And I want people to understand clearly, and I'm going to talk about the Strings program. In talking to both assistant superintendents and our principals, obviously across the board, you knew what our plan was, to try to not impact any one department fully. And by doing that, that was one of the recommendations, to the point of 1.5 positions. We thought the students would start later. Yes, last evening we had advocacy, but again, we clearly understand the importance, of these programs in the Newton Public Schools. And with the little bit of money left, if we were to add that back in, we would find a way to bring the Strings program back. I'd have to get the figuring done, but we feel that from the second list, we could add the Strings back. So at this point, those are our suggestions. Like I said, we came in this morning and have just started to really look at this.
The school committee has another meeting on Thursday, April 27th, when a final vote on the budget may happen. Jen Adams, Newton News, Newtonville.